Hello, I'm Martin from Cradle of Filth.
I'm Richard from Cradle of Filth.
And you are watching Impact Channel.
Hi everyone, we are here with Richard and Martin from Cradle of Filth. Greeting guys.
Hey.
And welcome back to Hungary.
Thank you.
How is the touring moon spell so far?
Amazing, honestly. We started in Prague, I think it was 3 days ago. And then that was sold out actually, and then we played a show in Ostrava in the Czech Republic as well. That was sold out as well.
Sold out.
And then, and then we played Bratislava in Slovakia last night, and it was close to sold out as well. So it was really good, and it was actually my birthday, so it was funny. So it was just, it was great, you know, watching like 1,000 people, you know, singing like "Happy Birthday to you." And all that. It was good. Yeah. Thank you again, Bratislava.
How was your birthday party?
There wasn't any birthday party actually. No, not really, because we have a show today. We are playing in Budapest, so there was no time for that.
You have this solid lineup since 2014. How do you work on the new songs? How do you arrange the rehearsals? Especially because Lindsay is living in Canada, so...
Yeah, rehearsals are difficult, and writing can be a bit difficult, but in this day and age we do everything via Skype and email and Dropbox. It makes it a lot easier. Like, I'll record something, send it to Martin, and Martin works his magic on it and turns it into a song, and we'll all chip in ideas for everybody. And come together and write it that way, and everyone suggests things, and then we got together for the Cryptoriana sessions. We got together in Brno, because we were playing Morvenfest in Slovakia, and we got together and kind of arranged a lot of the music there, but a lot of it was written by ourselves at home, and we chip in ideas via Dropbox and email and all that stuff.
It works very well actually, because we have been working like that since I joined the band in 2006. I remember when we were writing the songs for the Gospel album with Paul Allender, and that was pretty much the same way. We were just sending files via internet, and it worked very well.
And do you remember your first rehearsal with the band?
I do, yeah.
What was yours like?
It was good, yeah. No, I mean, it was really good. I mean, I was supposed to learn like 5 songs, but I think they didn't know that I was a fan of the band before, actually. I came to that rehearsal. So we ended up playing like 12 songs or something. It was like, hey guys, do you know this song? And they were like, yeah, sure we do, you know. So, so let's play it. And so we did, and yeah, it was fun.
And yours?
Good. Mine, because still being the new guy in the band as well as Ashok, I had 2 days rehearsals, I think, for the tour, for the European tour in 2014. I got the call maybe a month before asking if I was free to audition. Got the job, and it was like, right, you got 2 days rehearsals and then you're off on tour starting in Munich. And so really that's when I got to know everybody, because yeah, we talked via email and things, but it wasn't until that first rehearsal that I actually met the guys. So that was pretty strange, being thrown in at the deep end, and then it was like, right, you got 2 days, man, you're off on tour. And that was pretty crazy, getting to know everybody like on the bus on the way to Munich was really when we could relax and get to know each other.
Yeah. But luckily it was really good actually, because
Yeah.
it clicked like that, you know. I think
did.
we have similar interests, you know. I mean, our taste of music is pretty much similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we like also more progressive music, and so yeah, it went very well.
And if I say teamwork, which Cradle of Filth song pops up in your mind first?
Wow.
As a teamwork. Wow.
It's kind of tough.
You mean as a team, as a...
Like a band.
Like a band.
I can't think, because usually it's a case where like Martin will write a song and bring it to the guys, and I'll write a song and bring it to Martin to arrange, and Daniel will do the same, Ashok will do the same, and we'll all pitch in ideas. But in terms of
I think maybe
teamwork as a whole band,
I think it's definitely must be the bonus song on the new album, Cryptoriana album. I think Lindsay wrote that middle part as well.
Yeah.
So everyone contributed on that song, I think. Yeah. So What's the name of the song?
The Night at Catafalque Manor.
This one. Yeah, so this one.
That's probably the one that's the most amount of teamwork that's got into it.
Mm.
Everyone wrote something to do with that song.
There are different nationalities in the band. What are the most significant differences between the attitude of the band members? You're from Czech Republic, you're from England.
Oh, it's kind of hard to say.
I think, you know, we have pretty much similar sense of humor. We have pretty much similar taste of music. I think, I don't know really. We are not that different, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I
It's a good question actually.
Yeah,
I've never
it
thought
is.
about that.
Yeah, when I first joined the band, I was worried there might be a bit of a difference, maybe a language barrier or just similar, different upbringings, different tastes and things. But it clicked really, really well from day one. I felt I didn't feel like there was any difference because we're from different countries. I think in this day and age, everything's become so universal, and there's not that many differences between cultures that I've found, especially when you're working on music. Music is a universal language.
Exactly, yeah, it is. So
it just seems to work.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
There isn't anything particular that would be like too different.
No.
No.
And how do you inspire each other?
I always think we're trying to show each other new music and new bands.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that
Yeah.
sometimes Rich, you know, would play something to me like some kind of progressive music I've never heard of before, and then sometimes I play some like dark metal music or even classical music that he doesn't know maybe. But yeah, I think that's
the way it is. Like I remember
that's what it is.
talking to Danny, like when we were writing the last album, where he was saying he would like something like this kind of mood. I think he showed me like the Dracula soundtrack. It was like something like that
He's
with heavy metal guitars.
Like that.
And so you think, well, I wouldn't necessarily think to do something like that on the guitar. As much as I love film soundtracks, I would never thought to do those kind of melodies on my particular instrument. So it makes you come up with different ideas that I would probably never have come up with had Danny not suggested things or any other guys not suggested anything. So it's an interesting way of working. We're always pushing each other. When I think I've got a song that's there, Martin's the first one to go, no, we can get more out of it, we can do something better with it, we can arrange it differently. So we're always pushing each other to make the music as good as it can be.
Talking about soundtracks, what sort of movie or artwork crosses your mind when you listen to Cradle of Filth?
Ooh, probably Dracula.
Yeah, that was
Omen.
the closest one, yeah.
Yeah, Omen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Then
all the good old horror films, really.
yeah, probably the old horror movies.
Painting, maybe?
Painting.
I don't know, probably the album artwork. Arthur does a great... Arthur does a great job of doing the artwork for the albums. Like that matches the music perfectly. Like I don't think I would say I think of any particular art things. I mean, I don't know if Danny's maybe thinks of that when he's writing lyrics. I don't know, but musically, I don't think. Visually, I kind of think sonically.
Visually, I don't know.
I've tried. Try writing with a painting in mind or something.
I've never tried.
We'll try it
Yeah.
next time.
Thanks, it's a good idea actually.
Yeah.
We should definitely try. So next time when we do another interview, then maybe we will know the answer.
Yeah.
When I spoke with Lindsay last time, she said that you were kind of excited about the new Star Wars movies, and you watched the prequels and also the original trilogy.
Oh, that must be him.
Yeah.
And Danny and
me.
Tuchel probably.
Yeah.
I'm not really into Star Wars.
Alright.
I like the movies, but I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
Not like
How
they
about you?
are.
Are you?
Yeah. Danny and I think, are the big film buffs of the band, and we were really looking forward to the new Star Wars.
Are you happy about the Force Awakens and the new Jedi?
See, I really like The Force Awakens, but we probably played it a little bit too safe for me. It was a bit too similar to A New Hope. But I don't know, Last Jedi for me, I did like a lot of it. There were some great moments in it, but it kind of missed the mark a little bit. I don't think it's one of the best Star Wars films. But again, great moments in it, but some bits where I was like, really? They're going to go in that direction with it? Okay, we'll see what happens with the next film.
How about Rogue One?
Rogue One, I loved Rogue One. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I only watched it the other day, actually.
What does art mean to you?
Art.
Or art. It's basically the music is the art for me, basically, and well, everything else. I mean, like you mentioned, paintings and stuff. But I have to find another word, beauty. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Like art in all its forms, I think, is just needed in daily life. I think a world without art, is that really a world worth living in?
Yeah,
you know?
It's just that these days, it's very hard to find true artists. You know, because in this age of internet, there's so many people out there who think that they just do some kind of stupid thing, and they just upload it on YouTube, and they think that they are famous, and that they are the best players and whatever. They don't know, that it just takes, so many years of hard work, to become an artist, for example. So I think this is the part of the word art as well, to work hard, on something, and if you are talented enough, then I think it pays off, basically.
I agree.
So where do you go for inspiration nowadays?
Ooh, constantly listening to music, new bands, soundtracks, so many different styles of music. We all listen to everything. I think a lot of people think we only listen to heavy metal, and I think they'll be surprised to see what we have playing before and after a show.
I know you like Beatles.
I love the Beatles. Huge Beatles fan. But yeah, it's just anything to get inspired. I know Danny's the same, and I'm kind of the same when it comes to film soundtracks and just watching films in general and getting ideas from that. Going, right, can we kind of put that emotion that this particular film conveys? Can we put that into musical form? I suppose it's the same way like Black Sabbath did way back in the 60s, exactly. Like we're watching horror films and go, can you put that in a musical form? We still try and do that kind of thing. So I don't know, there's inspiration all the time. We never seem to be stuck for ideas. I think that's the good thing about this band. If someone's stuck for something, somebody's got an idea which will spur that idea. Yeah. Another idea is born out of.
I mean,
so we never seem to have enough
ideas. I'm not really into that many new bands, for example, but because I think there is still, so many old bands and old albums that I haven't explored yet.
Yeah.
And for example, the other day I was listening to one of the old Black Sabbath albums. I don't know what was it. I think it was Sabotage. And of course I know the album, but it's been a while, since I actually listened to that album. I was like, wow, this is really good. I mean, why I don't listen to that album, more often?
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, it's killer. So there is still, so much stuff, from the 70s, 80s, and even 90s, that actually inspires me.
And as artists, in what way would you like to challenge yourselves in the future?
I like to work with an orchestra.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I'd like to do with Cradle of Filth, especially. I'd like to do a live show with an orchestra, and possibly a live choir.
That'd be a dream.
Yeah.
An absolute dream. I think all of us in the band would love that.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
Maybe, who knows? It's come to my head. I don't know if I've even told you guys this, but doing it instead of just doing our songs with an orchestra, actually write new material with an orchestra, and maybe perform that material live. Like the first time anyone's heard the new material will be when you perform it live with an orchestra. But who knows? It's about budgets.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about money, these days, unfortunately. But yeah, for example, on the last album we used the live choir, and there was an idea to bring the live choir on the stage with us as well, but it's not that easy, because of the money again. I guess. But if there's a budget, then we would do that immediately, definitely.
And what do you do besides music? As far as I know, you're a teacher.
I'm a teacher, yeah, and playing musical theatre productions, and teaching and lecturing and doing clinics and things like that. So I'm lucky that I earn a living from music outside of Cradle of Filth, but it is more performing like as part of an orchestra and things like that, and teaching.
I'm a professional musician, so I write music, play drums, and I have a family, so that keeps me busy as well.
And how do you synchronize it with your traveling lifestyle?
I mean, these days it's definitely easier, if you have internet connection and Skype and stuff like that, because then you can stay easily in touch with family and stuff. I can't imagine how was it in the 80s or 70s. It must have been very, very hard.
Yes.
It is hard now with the internet, but back then.
So did someone on our
Maybe sending letters every day from different city, back home, like, hey, how are you? Oh,
yeah.
Can't imagine that.
And all postcards. And
Yeah,
just sending them over.
postcards.
I was talking to my tour manager about that the other day. He says, imagine trying to find, like, even this venue without a GPS system. You know, when you're trying to do it
Good
for
point.
4 days where it's all maps, doing an entire European tour with maps and like
Maps.
and no mobile phones. So you know you've got
A map, what is it?
yeah yeah like I don't know, having like bits of change around in every single currency, like going to a phone box, just trying to ring ahead to sort something out for venue. It must have been so hard, but now I think it's better than ever. I mean, we're either in relationships or we have family back home, and it's easier now. You can talk to them every day, FaceTime, so you don't really feel like you're away from loved ones and anything like work related back home for too long. Everything seems easier nowadays.
Do you have a funny tour story to share with us?
There has been so many stories.
So many. I'm wearing one right now.
You are actually. You should show them.
I lost my
That's
pass.
the funny. Yeah, that is a funny story.
Third day of the tour, and I lost my pass, and I was really annoyed with myself because I'm not usually like this. I'm really organised, I know where everything is, and then I woke up and I just couldn't find my AAA pass. And so we made this AAA pass, and so we made one. Yeah. Yeah. So we made like a new one, like that I have to wear all day as like to shame me, and then I lost that one. So I'm on my second fake pass, which basically says I'm a twat, shame me, and because I hate poor grammar. The guys, pretty much every word is spelt incorrectly, or it's really, really bad, and a really embarrassing photo of me. And so I have to wear this at all times now. So that's the most recent funny story of a tour. There's so many. There's so many laughs on this tour. But yeah, so yeah, I feel I'm a twat.
I'm a twat.
Yeah. That's just one of many funny stories, but I'm the butt of the joke today. Yeah, it's my turn.
Alright then, next question please.
Who was the craziest fan you've ever met?
Oh, there's been quite a lot.
There must be someone from America, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember once, we were signing a skull and stuff like that. It's always
fake legs.
Fake legs, and stuff like that. It's always very weird,
Yeah, the Maiden style.
Yeah, you get a lot of people are very, very passionate, and they kind of go a bit overboard with it
they would tell you like,
sometimes.
this is like a real skull, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't like that, I mean, it's just a bit, not disgusting, but why would you sign a real skull?
Like disgracing.
Probably disgracing, that's the point.
Yeah. They kind of take the theatricality of Cradle of Filth and kind of take it too far sometimes.
Yeah, I think
that's the craziest thing, when they think it's a little bit too real. Like in Russia, like when somebody thought we were genuinely vampires.
Like,
what are you doing out of the day?
That was one of the best
outside?
questions actually I've ever heard. That was like, there was a guy asking us, do you really sleep in a coffin? I was like, what? I don't have a coffin at home. I sleep in bed.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh. The guy was so actually disappointed. I was like, I'm serious, really?
We are too. What are the most essential things that you bring with yourself on tour?
Often guitar strings.
Airplugs.
Earplugs, yeah. Just things to...
Drumsticks.
Yeah. Obviously all the stuff for the show. There's things to not be bored on tour, because I mean, we're on stage for an hour and 40 minutes every night. It's like, what do you do with the rest of the time? So I try and get out and see the cities as much as possible, but you're always going to have that bit of downtime where you're not really doing anything. So I'll make sure I bring...
Yeah, it used to be a book.
Yeah, lots of books.
It used to be a book, but now, these days, if I have an iPhone or whatever it is, then you can upload that book into it. So that means that I don't have to carry that many books anymore with me, which is good. But then I kind of miss the format of the real book, because I have so many books at home, and well, Probably that, yeah.
Yeah.
Book or MP3 player. Because again, you know, I don't like MP3s, but I can't take all my CDs
exactly.
with me.
How many
So-
suitcases would we need if we took
Yeah.
all our record collection? All
all the vinyls and
Exactly.
CDs. So an iPhone, I would say, full of music and books.
And what do you like to read? Who are your favorite authors?
So many.
Well, it's Stephen King, Terry Pratchett. I also like books about history. I have so many books about Bathory, you know, Airship Bathory. So I collect them. So I have like 15 or 17 of them already. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but I just collect them basically. So history books and books about Stalin, Hitler. No, yeah. So I don't know what about you.
Yeah, I listen to anything I can get my hands on. I read
Oh, you
a lot
listen
of-
to it?
I will listen. I'm tired. But
You can listen
with
to books as
audiobooks,
well,
yeah,
actually,
audiobooks.
audiobooks, yeah.
But I read as much as possible, and I get a lot of autobiographies. I'm curious, even if I'm not a big fan of a lot of bands, I will still read the autobiographies to see how they got as big as they do and how they write and things like that. But I read a lot of non-fiction as well. Sorry, a lot of non-fiction and fiction. But like Anne Rice is one of my favourite authors. Kathy Reichs, John Grisham, a lot of the kind of crime fiction, as well as a lot of horror fiction.
Who's on your bucket list to work with?
So many musicians actually. Yeah, I don't want to say one.
Yeah,
I would have to say like 10 or 20. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
And because most of them are just like dream come true, you know, kind of thing that I don't want to mention that. So
Yeah.
there is way too many.
Yeah, it's a
But,
tough one to answer. Like,
Not millions, obviously, but like there is a few. Yeah.
anyone who inspires me would be great to work with. I say there's just too many. Kind of single them out on the video right now. But
it doesn't have to be, you know, a
yeah.
musician from metal scene, to be honest, you know.
No.
Not necessarily, because there is, like I said, you know, I'm very into classical music because I studied classical music. So there is so many classical musicians that I would like to work with, but I don't think so. It's gonna happen. It's just, you know, because of the schedules, basically. It's not that they don't want to. It's just because they are very busy. You know, traveling all over the world and playing music. So yeah, but there is, like I said, you know, a few definitely.
If you could pick the bands for a Cradle of Filth tribute album, who would you like to hear to cover your songs?
Oh man,
That's a tough question.
wow. I'd be curious to hear bands who have supported us.
I'd like to
Their
hear
take.
Moonspell.
Moonspell, yeah.
Mhm.
Moonspell would be great, like Near Blue Sky.
Because I can imagine us, you know, covering one of the Moonspell songs.
Yeah.
Because it's like we are on the same kind of on the same page, music-wise. It's also very dark music, so so for example Moonspell or who else? That's actually very easy. It's some, I don't know, maybe some bands like some progressive bands, to be honest. Yeah.
Like Beyond Creation?
Yeah, maybe, or even Dream Theater. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah, bands from other genres
Other genres,
doing
yeah.
their take on Cradle songs.
Pink
Would be
Floyd?
Very interesting.
Oh, Pink Floyd.
Could you imagine? Wow.
Black Floyd?
I can't imagine, actually.
Would be
Yeah.
interesting.
The Very Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah.
The very dark side of the moon.
And what's the story with your other bands and your other projects?
Yeah, so I play with a band from the Czech Republic, which is a very old band called Titanic. It's from Brno, from the city I live in, and it's like traditional heavy metal band. So yeah, we are just about to go to the studio to release a new album. After actually this tour is finished in May, probably I think. Then I will be playing some festivals with them and also with Cradle. So then I have another band called Interfere, which I'm also just about to start recording a new album, but it's just very hard, you know, because of the touring schedule and stuff. I was thinking about bringing like a keyboard and like a MIDI keyboard and some kind of a sound card and another laptop with me, so I could maybe work on that while touring. But It's just not possible. It's not the best way how to create music, at least for me, because it's just too busy, you know. And you need to rest as well, and you have to be fresh and ready for the show. So I can't imagine working all day on something with my headphones on and then just go straight, you know, to the stage and play the show. Would be maybe a little bit tired. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. So
I agree. In terms of originals bands, I don't have any other originals bands anymore. I was in a band called Emperor Chung, who did pretty well, and in a band called Engine 26, but we didn't break up, which nothing really happened. I'll come back from tour and I'm like, let's go do some things, and we're like, those guys are busy, and it just becomes a bit tricky to keep those bands going. But I've got like an acoustic covers band, and I'm always being employed for musical theatre productions and pantomimes and all this kind of stuff. So in fact, that's more my musical outlets when I'm away from Cradle of Filth. So, but it'd be great to get something else going. Maybe when Cradle have another long break again, maybe get those bands up and running again, or maybe we're getting a new band going. But we'll see. And I feel in for a lot of like tribute bands and things like that. So I'm always playing, but it's all more doing covers and other kind of non-original music, and that fills the time between Cradle tours.
I have actually recorded the album with a Slovakian band called Lunatic Gods. Have you heard of them before?
Lunatic Gods?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, they're from Slovakia. So I think that album will be released in February next month.
I know Tu Platanka.
You do? Yeah. Yeah, of course, me too. Yeah. They're pretty big actually. Also in the Czech
Republic. Still
Republic.
exist?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they tour a lot actually. Yeah, even in the Czech Republic. Yeah.
Talking about the different scenes in your country, what is the metal scene like in your countries? Especially if you compare the scene with your when you were a teenager.
Well, when I was a teenager, there's probably more bands playing live shows in clubs. There was also more venues.
Yeah.
Many of the clubs, you know, have just closed down. I don't know why, to be honest. But
Same here.
yeah, for some really strange reason, some of the venues I've played in as a teenager, like when I was 16 or 17 years old, they do not exist. I don't know why, but yeah, we have many very, very good bands actually in the Czech Republic and also in Slovakia, especially metal bands, but also rock bands, you know, jazz bands. You know. I think there is so many really good musicians, and yeah, we have a good scene in the Czech Republic.
It's similar in the UK. We've got a lot of good bands coming out, but not many venues, like you say, that a lot of venues are closing down, so there's not many places for them to play. So they do have to get a bit of a lucky break to get out there, because we can't tour on a lower scale like they were doing. But there's a lot of higher up bands in the UK now that are really breaking through worldwide. It feels good in the UK in terms of how many bands we have, but in terms of how many get that
That's
to that point where they can make a living from music,
that's maybe
not
the biggest difference between the scene in the UK and the scene in the Czech Republic, because we don't have any bands that would be like that higher, like breaking into world music scene and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why, for some strange reason. But for example, Masters they've just reunited, and I think they are doing very well. They've just played some shows in Sweden and Finland. So,
if you could go back in time and meet your teenage self, what would you tell yourself?
It works out okay. Keep practicing.
I was going to say the same thing.
Keep practicing. Don't give up, because the good times are coming.
Same.
Yeah.
Just keep practicing.
I don't know, just keep.
I know that I had been practicing a lot, you know. So, but anyway, I would just say just more.
It's all going to be worth
more.
it. Yeah. Do more. It will be worth it.
Even these days, you know, when I'm back home,
yeah.
I just go to my rehearsal room every morning, and I just try, you know, to practice for an hour or 2 hours. So just playing through the sets of different bands like Cradle or the other ones, or just practicing reading music, you know, and yes, it's always inspiring.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just got to keep being inspired and keep staying passionate, and I think that's what I would have told myself is keep practicing, but keep being curious about music. I think I meet a lot of musicians who are at the level that Cradle are and above, maybe just kind of get a bit jaded about music and just go, it's become my job now. I'm like, well, if I ever got to that point, I would probably leave.
Or like stereotype kind of stuff. Like, again. Exactly, no, I hate that. I really do hate that. It's just,
You've got to be curious and find new things to get excited
That's
about.
why we also try, to come up with funny stuff like, for example, this, just to cheer us up, every day.
Will you go for a time travel if you have a chance?
Ooh. I don't know. I think I'd be frightened to,
maybe,
in case something changed.
Maybe 17th century or something like that, but then I guess I would not survive the day. Must have been very hard. Yeah, so maybe 16th, 17th century probably.
I would like to go back to the 60s and the 70s purely because all my favourite bands were around then. So it would have been great to see like the Beatles and Hendrix live. So I want to time travel just for that reason alone. So because I felt like I was, I don't know, too young to be getting into all the bands, and I've missed the heyday of a lot of my favourite bands. So time travel for me would be great for that reason, but I wouldn't want to go back too far. So I can't really hold myself up in a fight, so I don't know what I'd be like in the 16th or 17th century. Like trying to.
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see how was it, but I would not survive the fucking day.
Alright. Last few questions. Please name your 5 favourite albums of all time.
Right,
should have had this.
That's easy for me.
It's easy for you. Okay, I should have had this ready to go. You say what.
Okay, I go for that. The first 5 King Diamond albums. That means a lot to me. And then also, must be Moving Pictures from Rush, Life After Death from Iron Maiden. I remember listening to that album when I was a kid, in the 80s. Amazing live album. There's many bands actually from 90s as well. Emperor, Anthems from Emperor. Then there is a band from Finland that actually doesn't exist anymore called Yearning. I love that band. All the albums, amazing music. Most of the Yes albums. Some of the Dream Theater albums, definitely. Icon from Paradise Lost. That was a big album when I was a teenager. When that came out, I was it's amazing. Also Draconian Times, that came out after that. And also Tusk and Her Embrace, from Cradle of Filth. When that album came out, it was just something completely different for me. Completely different. And some classic music also. I mean, classic albums like from Black Sabbath and also Deep Purple. Amazing stuff. Amazing musicians, all of them.
For me, first 5 that come to my head are just the ones that like, influenced me the most as a teenager, like discovering my own music instead of just my parents' collection. So things like Sgt. Pepper's, Hearts Club Band by the Beatles, and Night of the Opera by Queen, Master of Puppets, I still think is the greatest heavy metal album ever written. Go for The Wall, Pink Floyd. That's my number 1. It's just, I don't think anything will ever top The Wall for me. And probably Grace by Jeff Buckley. I remember hearing that when I was kind of like in my heavy metal bubble, and all of a sudden Jeff Buckley just came straight through and went, right, okay. And like, I had an appreciation for every style of music. I think I had an appreciation for every style of music from Queen, because they did everything, and so did the Beatles, but there's something about Jeff Buckley that just made me go, you know what, this is a whole new kind of alternative singer-songwriter realm that I never knew existed, and they're just fantastic songs.
Have you seen them with Adam Lambert?
Yes.
What do you think?
3 times now. I think he's so good. Really, really good. Great thing. I saw him with Paul Rodgers, and that was fantastic. Paul Rodgers, obviously, nobody can deny how good a singer that guy is. But it felt like Adam Lambert felt more part of Queen. I don't know. With Paul Rodgers, they kind of just for me personally, they didn't really venture out enough to some of it. It was more the big rock numbers you could do, but Adam Lambert was doing like Good Old Fashioned Loverboy and Bicycle Race and all these things I thought I'd never hear live. We played some really obscure album tracks as well that I was freaking out, surrounded by all the casual fans who were like, what song is this? This isn't on the greatest hits. And I'm like, oh my god, I never thought I'd hear a song like that. So yeah, but I think we're doing really well with him. Really good.
What's the meaning of life?
What's the meaning of life? To survive.
Yeah. Wow, these questions are hard. The meaning
You should
of
know
life.
that, you know, from Monty Python, you know, the meaning of life.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't think we'll ever understand the meaning of life. I think it is all about the journey, and maybe that is the meaning of life. It is the journey.
Maybe that is the journey. Yeah.
Because we'll never know the answer to it. So maybe that is the answer in itself. I don't know. But life is for living and making the most of, and every day where you're not doing what you love is a waste. And so I think I consider ourselves very lucky in that sense. But
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's what it is. It's the journey.
You should definitely follow your dreams. You know, so.
Any message to our viewers?
Thank you.
We had this discussion before, you know, so please go to the shop and buy our new album.
We'd like everyone to
I
buy
can't
the album.
believe that I just said it.
No, keep supporting Cradle of Filth. We can't thank you all enough, really. Without
Thank
you
you.
guys, there is no
Definitely.
band. I know it sounds very
Well,
cliched.
absolutely.
Every band says it,
Yeah.
but it's true. If people stop turning up to the shows and stop buying the albums,
We would not
there
be
is no
here
show,
before,
there is no
yeah,
band.
yeah.
So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thanks for your support, definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you again.
Thank you.